Hi, welcome once again to sixth episode of Shifting Focus, a talk with Sanjay Gupta. I hope all of you are taking care of yourself and are absolutely safe, sound, and healthy with all of your nears and dears. My name is Sanjay Gupta. I'm proud to be part of DS Group as VP and head its packaging development and procurement vertical. As you know that here in this show, we invite most influential, provoking business leaders, innovators, game changers, and role models who speak their mind about various issues arise due to this pandemic and way forward in this changing business landscapes. Today, we are really very delighted to have Dr. N.C. Saha on our show. He really doesn't require any introduction, and his name is more than enough for the whole packaging fraternity. But still, just to refresh, I will very quickly go through his profile. Uh, he holds bachelor degree in agriculture science, master degree in food technology, and PhD in packaging management. He is also an alumni of School of Packaging, Michigan State University, USA, and University of Tehran. He served to Indian Institute of Packaging in different positions for the last 32 years and worked as director and principal executive officer for 10 years till June 2019. At present, he is the board member of World Packaging Organization and honorary member of Asian Packaging Federation. He is also the chairman Indo Biomass Project under INDES, Indo-Dutch Sustainability Forum, a joint initiative of the Embassy of Royal Kingdom of Netherlands and Government of India. Dr. Saha is also the chairman of Sectional Committee, Bureau of Indian Standards, which is responsible for formulating various strategies. He is also the visiting faculty of Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. He has published more than 10 research papers and around 350 articles on packaging in different national and international journal and magazines in the field of packaging. And I think it is very great that he was also nominated as domain expert under REACH mission implemented by Ministry of Science and Technology in 2001 under the mentorship of respected Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Azad, former principal scientific advisor to Prime Minister and former Honorable President of India. This brief introduction will not do justice to the innumerable achievement and contribution Dr. N.C. Saha have achieved. So, Dr. Saab, I once again welcome you to this show. Thank you for sparing your valuable time.
Thank you, Sanjay. Yeah.
So now I will start the conversation, and your voice is very, very critical and important for the whole packaging fraternity. So, sir, I will start with my first query. Sir, how do you analyze pre and post pandemic scenario of Indian packaging industry with regard to technology, R&D, and innovation, as we are dependent on global technological collaboration in these areas?
Thank you, Sanjay. I think the pandemic impact on Indian packaging industry, I would like to express in three different stages. Okay. The first of all, what was the scenario in the Indian packaging industry prior to the outbreak of COVID-19, and what exactly has happened during the COVID-19, and what is our expectation that after COVID-19, how this industry is going to react and what will be the impact of this industry. So if I go by one, let's talk about prior to outbreak of COVID-19. I'm just trying to say that maybe till February 2020, because I understand all of you agree that the outbreak of COVID-19 came in China maybe in the early December 2019, and in India the first case came in the first week of March, and then we are in a completely in that lockdown stage from the March 25th and so on. Still it is going on. So if you really look at about prior to COVID-19, what was the scenario in the country? If you look at about the compatibility and the competency level of the Indian packaging industry and also the consumption pattern by considering the huge population of the country, which is around 1.3 billion population, the Indian packaging industry has played a great role. The reason is the country like India, where the population is too high, and the more responsibility comes to the government how to really make available the food grains to feed this such a huge populated country. And for that, of course, we are fortunate that country has been experienced with the two revolution like green revolution and white revolution. As a result, today country is completely self-reliant and self-dependent on the food security or the food availability. But at the same time, one is to think about that how to store and how to preserve the food products. So there the packaging plays a great role, and where the packaging industry plays a great role.
I'm interrupting you.
To look at about
I'm interrupting you. As you're saying this agriculture, this year agriculture is doing a great role. Around 60% of GDP is from agriculture, and in the whole GDP, agriculture is the sector which might save us as far as economy is concerned. So our role is very important.
I fully agree. And the way the country has really made it, and today we have reached to that situation that we are not only feeding this 1.3 billion population, we got a surplus also. Yes. So that's got a good scenario. The same thing comes about on the packaging. Now, if you look at about the Indian packaging industry, the way it has grown for the last 50 years, I'm telling, since independence, how the industry has grown. There are few of the statistical data in which I'm going by authenticated published data by the Smita Paira, UK, and who publish the book every year. So I'm just referring the book, what they say. As per the published data of Smita Paira, they say that 2018, that's the 2 years back, the March 2018, the figure was 27.7 billion US dollar is the total size of the Indian packaging industry. Though there are many other data has come, but I personally feel that that is a very authentic data, because the subsequent, the justification they have given in a various segment wise, the how the Indian packaging industry is growing. So if I take that data, the 27.7 billion US dollar was the total size of the Indian packaging industry in 2018. And it also says that industry would be growing, and it was growing for the last 3 years that start from 2015 to 18 at the rate of average rate of 10.7%. Yes. And it was expected that the next 5 years, this is trend, the same trend would continue. So that was the scenario what I could get this, the statistical information what the Paira has told. It has also mentioned that if you look at about the product wise, how really the consumption pattern in this country. Very interestingly, we find almost 65% consumption of packaging material. It is for food and beverages.
Yes.
And beverages means if you talk about ready to drink food, or if you talk about the packaged drinking water, because that comes in a huge consumption of packaging material, I'm trying to say the PET concern. So there we find almost 65 to 70% consumption of packaging material is going to food and beverages, followed by pharmaceutical, maybe 10 to 12%, the cosmetics is 5%, and as for other of the product. So this was talking about the segment wise, how the product segment and the consumption pattern. But very interestingly, it has also highlighted that out of the 4 major packaging material, like we know paper, plastic, then metal and glass. And plastic, again, we got a flexible plastic and the rigid plastic. What this projection was given, that flexible plastic, among that the polyethylene will be in a huge consumption in the Indian country, and you understand, because you being the head of procurement in DS Group, how this polyethylene is playing a great role, even this your flexible packaging material and multi-layer, how it is coming. So it is said that the polyethylene will be the big role, I mean the big consumption would come, but compared to flexible plastic, the rigid plastics, mainly the PET, the polyethylene terephthalate, PET and polypropylene, these are the 2 polymeric material will have a huge consumption in the packaging. The reason behind the PET will be mostly consumed for the packaged drinking water. And today you find that drinking water, like I am chairing in BIS IS 14625, where we have mentioned that it has to be, yeah.
Sorry, can you become more generic than the more technical, because fraternity would like to have a more
Okay.
holistic view.
Okay, fine. So what I say that PET bottle and the polypropylene will have a more consumption because of the drinking water, as well as we find polypropylene will be more on consumer goods like the biscuits, confectionery, and you find there are huge consumption of polypropylene for the oven sack. Like we get a filling of packaging of cement, fertilizer, food grain. As a matter of fact, the food corporation, the food grains, all will be coming in the polypropylene bag. So that's why we find these two consumption, the polypropylene and PET will have a more consumption. And that was the scenario which was prior to the COVID-19, what I say. Now, Smita Para also say that there will be growth of aluminum packaging. And we find aluminum is in many segment, aluminum packaging is coming in packaging. It says around 9.3% growth will be in aluminum packaging, 6.1% growth in paper packaging, 6.9, almost 7% in metal packaging, and around 8.4% in glass packaging, and rest is for the other product. But these statistics, what the Smita Para did a study in the 2017, and that's the projection they gave in 2018. But I believe after the COVID-19 outbreak, this trend and scenario, you will all appreciate that this will be completely changed now. Now let's understand what has happened after February, or let's say in March, when this outbreak of COVID-19 has come. We are all experienced about this tiny virus, which has spread over the world. Around almost 185 countries have been affected. But the most importantly, this has made a huge challenges to the entire nation, entire the world, this pandemic. This pandemic has thrown a bargaining crisis to the global economy, the functional and the financial system, and as well as, of course, the industry. And all kind of industries are affected, including the packaging industry. But while the whole world was trying to get through this uncertainty because of the lengthy lockdown, when it was started lockdown 1, 2, 3, now, of course, the government of India started unlocking. Yesterday, I came to know that from 1st of August, the unlock 3 is coming. Yes. So that's, we are trying to reach to the normalcy situation. But the lengthy lockdown, which has created not only the financial burden, financial crisis, it has made uncertainty, a lot of unemployment has been created, business confidence has grown. Now, as a result, we find that the whole industry has reached to a situation which we say VUCA. VUCA means the volatility, we talk about uncertainty, we talk about the complexity and ambiguity. Yes. So these are the things which the industry have been facing during the COVID-19, the scenario, and still we are being under, it's going on. But I personally believe, and I am firm believer, that whenever there is a crisis and there is a disaster comes, immediately it leads to certain opportunity. And what exactly the Indian industry has happened, Indian, especially the packaging industry, Indian packaging industry has shown a great job, and they could found that yes, this is not only a problem for us, rather it leads to an opportunity, because this is an essential commodity. Packaging being a service organization, we need to supply the packaging material on time, despite of having there are a lot of limitation, and they found that the consumption is going up, the demand is going up, the packaging industry was really growing in a proper way. We also find certain things in the lockdown stage, all our experience, we never thought work from home, like you and me, we are all working work from home, that will be really a success thing. We never thought. We thought that this is the most unproductive way of thinking. But today the whole world has experienced, rather work from home has given the maximum productivity. I am told that when Microsoft was thinking, even after lockdown, almost 70% people will be working from lockdown. I mean, work from home. So that gives some of the experience of the lesson we got during this COVID-19, what we have been experienced. And we find that the industry has really geared up. They got a challenge, but they have really understood what to be done and what is the scenario is coming the next time. When you talk about that impact of the packaging industry, I personally believe, as compared to the other sector of industry like automobiles or hospitality or entertainment, the Indian packaging industry has not been that much impacted. The only reason, because packaging is always considered as a service industry, and you are quite experienced on that. And as a result, that industry was readily, they could sweep the shifting about their changing that what should be done in the production. And even the people started working extra hour, extra time with a limited manpower, and somehow to satisfy and meeting the demand of the industry. And that is the scenario what we find the Indian packaging industry.
So, sir,
Now,
things are not as bad as being assumed.
exactly. So that's why I feel that Indian packaging industry, I really salute to them the way people have thought that it will be very bad scenario. It's not that, though they have been working with just 20% manpower, lot of limitation, but still they could supply the food in time. And that is the reason even in the lockdown stage, we could find that essentials were available. Now the post-COVID, that's my third scenario, which is all of us, we are expecting, and a lot of literatures, everybody is talking. This, though after the unlock, we are slowly entering to a normal situation. Expectation is at the beginning of the next year, by 2021, the vaccine would come, and the country or the whole nation or the whole world may be returning to the normalcy. That's what people are expecting. But I personally believe this would not be a normal. That's why people see a term called new normal. Now, the new normal has got a meaning, but the new normal means there will be a lot of socio-economic changes. So one of the changes, what everybody is expecting about the change in lifestyle.
Yes.
And you and me, everybody will accept that the Indian society will be very much cautious to spend the money. They will be mostly spending the money for essential and medicine. All the non-essential things they will put in the back seat, because everybody will be cautious that if something happen, another pandemic comes, what to do. So people will reserve the fund. So that is some kind of very conservative kind of lifestyle, what we are expecting. There will be a lot of cultural transformation. That's the another thing what we are expecting. I think all of you will agree that today we have been maintaining the social distancing just to not to transmit the virus. I think this has become some kind of practice for them. Work from home has become a practice, and that will still continue. Wearing mask and hand gloves, sanitization, all this cultural transformation, that would have an impact what we are expecting. There is also a shift would come about the online shopping.
Yes.
And people are expecting the digitization. Maybe the whole world will go back to call contactless commerce. It's not an e-commerce now we are talking contactless commerce. So that kind of thought process is going on. And in packaging, we are expecting that there will be more and more demand would come about smart and intelligent packaging. Why it is so? Because the consumer will be very conscious to touch a package. They would like to know whether the package has got a pathogen-free package or not. So there the smart packaging plays a big role. Maybe there will be some kind of biosensor which will indicate that it is free from pathogen. So that is the expectation what people will be looking for. And that becomes a very big challenge for the packaging technologists to come out with a new science and technological innovation on the packaging just to satisfy the consumer. There is another thought process.
Again, I'm interrupting you, but as are you saying online shopping? So I think again, India is on advantage. As per McKinsey, India is one of the largest and fastest growing market for digital consumers, with 560 million internet subscribers in 2018, second only to China. So I think that will some help to India.
I'm with you. I'm fully agree. And what we find that takeaway food, right? We have now many Swiggy, Zomato, all these food. This industry will grow. There is no doubt this industry will go, the demand will grow, but the only thing they have to be very much cautious that how best they can supply and hygienically. That means what I'm trying to say, the safety and hygiene,
Yes.
these two becomes very important. For an industry segment, people will be looking for automation. People will feel that if I have an automation, I can run my operation with less manpower, at the same time more productivity. Though it is a capital investment, but still they will feel that that is a one-time investment. But by making an automatic process, my productivity goes out with a less manpower, because now there is a lot of manpower is reduction, because when you have a social distancing in a shop floor, instead of 100, only 50 can only sit and they can occupy their chair. So keeping all these conditions, yeah,
Means you are hopeful.
yeah, yeah. So pardon me?
It means you are hopeful for the Indian packaging industry.
Yeah. I am hopeful that the way the industries are moving, they would be definitely, they would understand that post-COVID what is going to happen, because the industry circle are talking now. Even a lot of discussion over the FICCI, CII, and everybody is aware. What I am talking is nothing new. These are all people are already been experienced, and they have been expecting that these things would be happening after this, maybe February 2021.
So good to hear.
But there are,
So now coming to the second question, because time is short,
Yeah.
and we need
Yeah.
to have your larger views on various issues. So
Yeah.
my second question is, you have been an architect in building Indian Institute of Packaging and creating packaging technologists and professionals.
Yeah.
And if we see the data, and you have also mentioned it, that Indian packaging industry is the fifth largest sector of Indian economy.
Yeah.
And it belongs to micro, small, and medium enterprises. And
Yeah.
this is the second largest employment generating sector in India, which gives employment to 120 million people. 24% of manufacturing GDP is from MSME sector.
Correct.
85% of packaging industry is related to MSME sector. Do you feel that Indian packaging professionals owe more responsibility towards industry and society, and also deserve more respect, honor, and recognition, which is missing in India? We people are responsible for sustainable future, sustainable packaging, eco-friendly packaging. So, do you really feel that this fraternity really deserves some more recognition all over? And you have been really instrumental in giving us so much of strength to all of us. What do you really feel?
No, Sanjay, thank you so much. Frankly speaking, I was not the only the architect of Indian Institute of Packaging. The Indian Institute of Packaging, which was established in 1966, about almost 56 years old organization. But yes, you are right. When I spent about 32 years in this institute, spent my more than half of my life, and when I was given the responsibility in 2009 to lead the institute, I could understand the kind of demand is coming in future about this packaging science and technology. What exactly I did, I was the 8th director of Indian Institute of Packaging. So my previous, all the directors, they have contributed on their own way. But when I took over, I could understand that looking ahead about 2050, how this industry is going to help to the society by way of making more and more packaging professional, and who has got a huge responsibility on the society. So thinking in that, I did a lot of SWOT analysis, the strength, weakness, and opportunity and threat of the institute. And I realized that this institute is based on 4 important pillars. One of the pillar, because incidentally, this Indian Institute of Packaging is registered as a society. In 1966, it was registered as a society, and I feel proud to mention his name, Mr. H.D. Shori, who was the bureaucrat, and he was the Director General of Indian Institute of Foreign Trade. And Indian Institute of Foreign Trade, IIFT in Delhi, which was started in 65, and he realized that IIFT, who teaches about export management for the promotion of export. But he was such a visionary person in 1965. He realized that just improvement of export cannot happen without having an innovative packaging. And that's why he took initiative, and there were 3 people from the government side and the industry, and the institute was established. Over a period of time, even still it is a joint initiative is going on. Lot of industries are involved on the managing committee. Maybe 2/3 is the industry and 1/3 is the government nominee there working. So when I took over this position, I realized that there are 4 pillars who are really functioning in this institute, and that's the way the institute can take a sweep in the very high. The first pillar is the government, because the government has to support by way of investment. And that's why I made the vision document, and also the government support made a good relation with the government machinery so that you can get the financial support. The second pillar is the industry. As you rightly said, the recognition is required. Yes, I fully agree. Recognition comes from whom? Recognition comes from the masses. But the recognition would come unless you reach to the masses. So there was a big gap between the academia and industry. So my idea was to narrowing the gap, also make more linkage to the industry. So that was the second pillar. The third pillar was over a period of time, the institute has produced more than 6,000 packaging professionals. You know, the Indian Institute of Packaging is conducting 2 years postgraduate diploma program since 1985. But those students are the ambassador for the institute, and they are a huge alumni. But there was a big gap of the alumni in the institute. Once they pass out from the institute, there is no recall. So I tried to bring them very closer. And I remember in 2011, when I had a meeting with the alumni, and I thought, why not we start a festival? And I gave a name called Packaging Festival or PackFest. It is a 3-day event, and where all the alumni and all the students, they would come and they will participate. And today it has become an annual event. And then to increase the number of students, just Bombay is not good enough. So we started this course in Delhi in 2000. And then when I took over in 11, we started in Calcutta. 2012, we started in Hyderabad. So now in the PackFest, what is happening, different campus students are coming together under the leadership of the alumni. They have a PackFest festival where it is not only a group discussion or your competition, essay writing competition or your debate competition on packaging subject. They have a lot of competition like cultural and sports competition is going on. So this makes an overall building of a professional who is coming from the institute. And today PackFest has become an annual event, and which I tried to strengthen the third pillar of my alumni. My fourth pillar was the employees, because I know land building machinery is not good enough. When you talk about an organization like your company group or IIP, it all depends on the employees dedication. So you need more people. So unfortunately, when I took over, there was almost 60 or so many vacancies were there. It was not been filled up, and mostly the faculty position. So we try to bring this faculty here, a lot of PhD I brought it. So that's how we have strengthened these people. So this was my first job, to strengthen the internally and then go out. And then I went to the world packaging, so many countries. I was recognized as vice president, Asian packaging. So all this activity, what I did, the whole objective was how best we can take this institute, being a tiny institute, and bring it to the national or international level and to get the recognition. But I fully agree with you, the kind of recognition what this institute would have, it has not reached to that level. I fully agree. But to do so, the whatever work I have done is not enough. You will get a recognition once this institute starts undergraduate program. That's called BTech, AmTech, and PhD. And that was actually my dream. And keeping in mind that, I prepared a vision document 2024, which I submitted to the Planning Commission, to the ministry. But of course, ministry support is required. Ministry give a lot of fund, and we have constructed around 120,000 square foot built up area in Mumbai. We have got a 5-story building college. We have got 8-story building of hostel, about 430 seat capacity of students hostel. All the infrastructure is ready, but you need faculty. Without faculty, institute cannot run. So this much work I have done it, But I think the next whoever comes as the director now, there is no permanent director would come,
Sir, I think,
and he has to take it further.
sir, I think most collaborative approach of industry and institute
Exactly.
is required
Institute.
to have some
Institute is required.
for the future.
Unless the collaborative, it is not only in the education, the more important I feel we should give more stress upon on research, because the industry, they have an industry need-based research.
Yes.
And what the institute academic research is doing, that is not good enough. So you have to reach to the industry and make a cordial relation or very aggressive action to the industry, what exactly is looking for. In many areas, we find industry is much ahead of the institute. Many design, which institutes never thought industry is already developed. Maybe there is our students are doing or somebody is doing, but they have already developed. But institute job is to help them. But this is possible if we become little proactive, bring those people together and understand about the industry's need and requirement and do this R&D. There are a lot of R&D is missing in this country. For example, I was just talking yesterday to one of the industry from South, and they make an ethnic foods. In India is a plenty of ethnic foods, but we don't know how to pack those foods. So we need to study those food. We need to study their the shelf life study, the compatibility, and that's the way if you can branding properly and labeling and marketing, the product will sell in the market. There are R&Ds required, and those R&D which is related to the alternative packaging material development, which is not in work.
Sir,
that becomes your problem.
Consortium.
Yeah.
So, sir, request
Pardon
to
me?
make some kind of consortium who can work in this direction.
Exactly. I fully agree with you. There is a need for a consortium. That consortium will be a combination of the institute, technologists, industry, and government. And this type of consortium is really working in Singapore model. Singapore model is a consortium where government is not throwing the ball to the industry that you take care of it. That way it will not function. It has to be a consortium where all four should have to come together, and then we make a perfect solution for that. And then I'm sure then this packaging recognition would come across the world, and we could be one of the leading packaging industry in the world, though today, as you mentioned, we are in the 5th largest, but why not the number 1 in the industry sector?
So now coming to my last question, which is very important to today's scenario. Now it is evident that today humans are fighting with the nature for our irresponsible behavior towards God-gifted beautiful ecosystem. Should packaging industry take social, ethical and moral responsibility to scale up and implement time-bound solutions of circular economy via biodegradable, recyclable, compostable structures, along with other eco-friendly initiatives like water recycling, its conservation, use of renewable energy, reduction of carbon footprint in entire supply chain, irrespective of waste management or CSR compulsions. You are chairman of various committees working very efficiently on these lines. So please throw some light on this very quickly because we have only 5 minutes with us.
Okay. Sanjay, I fully agree with you. This is a need of the hour for the country, and how really we can work in this area, as you rightly say, the reduction of carbon footprint, alternative packaging and all, that's all fine. But I can touch upon one very important aspect in India, what is missing. That's called the concept of understanding about circular economy.
Yes.
Today, circular economy, people thinks recycling of plastic is a circular economy. That's not true. Circular economy is a different concept. It is a holistic approach, and it is a big umbrella.
Yes.
So in the earth, when we talk of sustainability, in the earth, there are various resources. Packaging material is the only resources. Plastic is a material of plastic, packaging material or non-packaging plastic. This is only one kind of resources, but there are biomass, there is a water, there is a power, so many resources. The idea is whatever the resources are available in the earth, take it, use it, convert it, give it back. So that has to be called the complete loop of a circular economy. Unfortunately, circular economy has not been understood. It has gone a very misconception that need for a proper structured training program on a circular economy, so that to make them understand to the public that circular economy, it is not only recycling of packaging material. Now, plastics.
Sir, can you brief
Yeah.
a little on some projects on which you are working in West Bengal and with the government of Netherlands?
Yeah, very. Thank you so much. I tell you, in the plastics, everybody appreciated that plastic is such a wonderful material. And today it has become a part and parcel of our daily life. Without plastics, we cannot even think of any daily life that there is a plastics. Now, when you talk about rigid plastics and flexible, most of the rigid plastic, absolutely no problem because they can be collected, segregated, recycled, so it is going. The whole problem is coming about the flexible packaging. Now, the flexible packaging, again, there are innovation has come, the single layer, multi-layer, co-extruded, laminated and all. Now, if you look back that why all these so many innovations and development come, because it is a need-based. The moment you say the packaging concept is a need-based technology. Keeping in mind three important P, what is called protection, preservation, and presentation. So keeping in these three in the mind, all this new development has come. Now, if you say the product to be protected and preserved, so naturally you need a different structure, and that's why the composite structure, the multi-layer material has come. Now, this is on the science part. The other part, what has happened, we have forgotten that we have been going on doing the innovation, but what would happen is end of its life. That means everyone has to understand, which is called LCA, the life cycle analysis. Many of us, we never thought that there is an LCA study is required. Circular economy will taught us. They will taught about what is the LCA for paper, what is the LCA for polyfilm, what is the LCA for MLP. Life cycle analysis, until unless we know the end of life of this product, we cannot think about that life cycle analysis, or the circular economy cannot be completed. Now, there are notifications by the Central Pollution Control Board that what to be done with MLP. The MLP has got only three routes. The first route, it has to go around 10 to 12% shading and use it with the asphalting and make the road construction. That is well proven and that is going on. But again, you cannot use more than 10 to 12%. There is a chances of the plastic will come out when the car starts bumping. The second is talking that why not we do pyrolysis, the reverse engineering, and you can make oil. But that oil, one is to think of it whether economically viable or not. The third option is given that just burn it and just send it as a fuel to the cement industry. But that's not a proper, I mean to say, the proper solution for that, because that increases more on carbon footprint in the environment. The other area I feel is the most important area, which cannot be a circular economy, but definitely it is called reprocess. Even though all the three, what I say, the road construction, it is not a circular economy. Yes, pyrolysis could be a circular economy because they're going back to the product. But there is another option that where the MLP can be converted into some value-added product, and what exactly I'm involved now. Now, there is a government of West Bengal has taken an initiative with the advice of National Green Tribunal that the dump yard, which is the dump yard, every city has got a dump yard. Now they have got a direction that the dump yard, which was 50 years before, the dump yard was outskirts of the city. But over a period of time, entire dump yard has come within the city. So they have got a direction that as early as possible, the dump yard should go outside the city. So West Bengal government, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, a few states has been a little bit proactive. Now, government of West Bengal has taken a PPP model, that public-private partnership, as a sample model, as a project model they are thinking, where I got involved, and to find out the material which is available in this dump yard, what can be done. So they have started a biomining project, and where you get wet material and dry material. The wet can be transformed or converted into a bio-fertilizer, compost and all. But the dry, where you find almost 60% is plastic. Now those plastic, it is predominantly MLP. Now those MLP were to go. These MLP was gone from our houses. All the residential, it has gone and slowly it is dumped into that municipality dump yard. So those material I could found out in Mumbai, in Maharashtra, there is an industry called Deluxe Recycling Private Limited. They have been working with Tetra Pak for the last 20-22 years. The Tetra Pak carton is a very unique structure. It has got a paper board, it has got an aluminum foil, and it has got a polyethylene. So they just shred it and they make a compression molding and make a board and that board is a equivalent strength of more than strength of the plywood. I'll show you some of the sample what they have done it. Done this. This is a one board from Tetra Pak. This is a plywood structure at Tetra Pak material. Your toothpaste tube, which is coming from the dump yard, that can be converted into a plywood board. And very interestingly, it's 100% waterproof. You can dip into the water. But my idea was the dump yard material, which is around 30 years, 40 years, old plastics in dumped into that area. So those material I arranged to bring it to Mumbai, and they did it. It is a black color board has come. These are all the waste material, 100% waste material, 100% waterproof. So what he is doing, he can put a plywood Sarmica in the top and make a door. He can use it as a bench or a school desk, you know, the class desk. He can do classroom. He can use for pallet. Now I am told that this company is supplying to automobile industry to use that seats to make it, you know, for sitting seats like in three-wheelers. All are replaced, the wooden, the plywood is replaced by all the recycled board. So this has got a huge future is coming in the near future to make the waste, or in short, you can say waste to wealth, what it can be done. The same thing, I am involved in a project like as in the government of Netherlands. They have come out with a project called Indo-Dutch Sustainability Forum. There's a government of India and the Dutch government, but it is initiated by the Embassy of Netherlands. That's why I got involved there. It is under Indus. We have taken a project of India Biomass Project. Okay. Now, in Punjab and Haryana, you know, every year, and you are in Delhi, you know that the paddy stables after the harvesting, again, it is coming in September. So after the harvesting of stables, the stable part which is left over on the plant, on the ground, and paddy is grown in waterlogging area, the next crop is coming wheat, and that needs a dry area, just opposite. So you need to make your ground ready for the next crop. And hardly they get time, only 3 weeks time. So what the farmers feel the best part is to burn it. So they just burn it, so the land is ready for the next crop. And that is created an environmental pollution to the NCR region. Indus project, India Biomass project, what we have done, our whole objective is, these stables, why not we convert it into pulp? And pulp to paper, and paper will be agro-based paper, and that you convert it some kind of, plate, that disposable cup, plate, which will be a single-use plastic is becoming a ban now. So it can be replaced by that. But what I realized that when I had a meeting with this nearing the industry, all the packaging, the paper industry, because ultimately the work has to be done. They're ready. Today they are using bagasse, the sugar cane, the waste material, they take it and they make the pulping. Paddy stable they are not using because there are silica content as around 18 to 19% silica content. So that is creating the problem in their, when they process it, the black liquor is coming, there they find the drum gets clogged because of the high silica content. So we, under this project, we are in touch with Central Pulp and Paper Research Institute in Saharanpur, CPPRI, that's also under Ministry of Commerce. And they have got a technology which is desiliconization process, where there won't be any silica content, and rather we will get some other product which is a byproduct has got a value. So ultimately, I am confident that once these paddy stables convert into pulp and it comes, then it will be 2-3 advantage would come. One of the advantage, the paper industry will get another raw material as a resource, is a natural resource for making the pulp because it has got a fiber content. The other advantage would come, the farmers would be benefited. Today, the farmers are just burning, they are not getting price. The paper industry, they can sell to the paper industry, they get a price. The third benefit, the environmental pollution, what you have to use the masking, even without coronavirus, you have been using last 5 years, that problem will be resolved. So I think it's another national cause, this project. So this kind of sustainable solution, as you rightly said, is very much required in the country. But again, I go back my original, what we discussed in the consortium is required. And this, until unless we emphasize and stress upon more and more research, R&D, that how we can use more and more biomass material, convert into basically the natural material to be converted as a waste to wealth. And then only I think what our Prime Minister is telling about Atmanirbhar Bharat, or the self-reliant,
I think, sir,
This cannot be fulfilled without having this
very important slogan from you: waste to wealth.
waste to wealth. Yes, and in fact, after my retirement from IIP, I have been involved 2-3 projects, and my whole idea is this kind of work. Everything is going for the nation, and all work, whether it is my Indus project, or I'm talking this project, everywhere you find it is a plastic waste to wealth. It
Sir,
is a biomass with a pedestal to wealth. Yeah.
sir, industry doesn't feel that you are retired.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I am. I feel now I am more active. And today, when I was in IIP director, I was only thinking about Indian Institute of Packaging. But today, I feel this is only a small pocket of an institute. But here, whole country needs a lot of expertise. You need. But I think waste to wealth is a very much required for the country, and we like that there are many natural waste. How I was talking to one gentleman, he makes all the biomass converting into biogas. Yes, that is also a circular economy. So the circular economy, first thing, as you question me, I think the most important, one should understand the concept of circular economy. It is not recycling of plastic. It is just a small portion of the entire circular economy. That much only I can tell.
Thank you so much for coming on the show. It is always very interesting and insightful to talk to you, to have your guidance, to have your views. And I think that this 40, 45 or 50 minutes are not enough at all to talk to you. We will take another time from you and create another episode. I think industry is very, very delighted to have your views. Thank you so much. Take care of health and keep on guiding all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sanjoy. Thanks a lot for inviting me here, and I could share some of my views, and that's why I spoke here. Thank you so much.
We are really grateful to you. Thank you so much.